Yo, hello guys, welcome back to another figure review of mine. Now we're gonna take a look at the super action statue Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, if you don't know this anime, it's a really weird anime, but I do like it. I watched the whole anime actually, to be honest. Not to be honest, I mean like I watched the whole anime. I watched all the seasons and it's very fun, it's very cool, but you need to like it, not everybody likes it. It's not really fighting anime, but the fighting which is in there is very epic. The sound effects, the visual effects are so cool made. Also the sound effects, the impacts of the punches and everything. That's something I really like. The impacts, it's so just over-exaggerated. But anyway, this is the main character. There is not really a main character, but it basically is the main character of the second season. And yeah, you have different parts, but I just called second season. Uh, this is Jotaro Kujo, and they all have a stand. There's kind of a ghost who fights for them, but he himself is pretty strong as well. He's really strong actually. But anyway, this figure is really cool. It's very detailed. It's from Medicos. It's called the Super Action Statue line. That means basically is an articulated statue in their opinion. But I must say the joints are too obvious to really call it a statue, but the paint apps and the sculpting is just phenomenal and amazing on this figure. But I must say he is shorter in scale than you would expect him to be. On camera it looks very big, but he's kind of short. He's even a little bit shorter in scale than the S.H. Figure Arts figures, in my opinion. It's just the same scale as the S.H. Figure Arts figures, but his head is kind of small. Kinda is really too small for my taste. But I do like the shading, which you can see here. I do think this is, by the way, an older figure. I don't know if this is a re-release of the older figure, but for the time, this is a very great figure. If you can see the shading on his shirt and in his jeans, he has a glossy shoes. Looks very cool. In the back here, you can see there is nice shading and sculpting detail all over it as well. And his jacket is a loose piece, but you can technically remove it, but I won't just do it. Better rather let it stay on. It's on a hinge, and also there is nice shading overall and sculpting on the jacket as well. And his head sculpt is kind of small, as you can see, but it's nice done. It's a good head sculpt, kinda. It's a great head sculpt. It's fine for me, in my opinion. But anyway, let's take a look at the accessories, the packaging, and then let's look at the figure again. Let's put him on the back here. So he comes with a stand, and this stand is pretty basic. It's on 3 hinges, and it's very nice. It has a great quality feel to it. Nice tight joints on there, and he comes with a certain. He comes with a couple of accessories, and this is his alternative head sculpt. It's pretty much almost the same as his normal one. You can see the sculpting detail is pretty nice, and the face print is nicely done. I like the look of it, but what I was saying, it's a really small head. It's really small. Yeah. So anyway, I like the sculpting on the hair, if you look at it, and his head is very nice as well. So let's look at these other accessories. He comes with 2 alternative jeans parts which you can pack on here on his leg, and then you can use these without finger hands to put his hand in his pocket. So, and he also comes with 2 style pose hands, open hands, 2 head gripping hands with his unique pose of him that he grabs his head and says "Yuri Yuri dase." That means "Oh my grief." And these are 2 flat palm hands, and these are 2 pointing hands, which he uses when he uses his stand, his ghost, to fight for him. He points at something, and then his ghost Star Platinum fights in his behalf. He also comes with the instruction sheet, which shows off where the articulation is, so you don't unnecessarily put pressure on certain parts of the figure which doesn't have articulation. But we're gonna take a look at the articulation, of course. But first, let's look at the packaging. It's a very nice packaging. It's basically just a box, and it's pretty big compared to the s.a.s. Figure Arts packaging. As you can see, this is the back, this is the side, this is the top, and this is the bottom. It's a Super action statue figure, and they all have the same packaging, but then in different colors. Anyway, so let's look at the figure again, and this is nice. It's really a chain metal. So anyway, so let's look at this figure. It's a really nice figure. I do like it. I do like it a lot, but I'm kind of disappointed. Why? Because I was expecting it to be much bigger. I thought it was like in the Marvel Legends skill. I thought it was bigger than the s.a.s. Figure Arts figure, but it's even smaller. I was on camera. It looks just so big. I just don't understand why I misinterpreted that. But anyway, so the articulation is his head is on a hinge, as you can see. And it's also on and you can also rotate it. So the hinge is pretty obvious, as you can see. It's kind of ugly. It's really ugly, really obvious. But you gotta take that for granted. This chain is nice. He has a butterfly joint to the back and also to the front and also up a little bit. His arm can rotate very, very tight on there. You need to watch out not breaking that. I'm serious. I'm really serious about that. So you need to watch out rotating his arm like this up. And also hinge out. It can hinge out, but not further than this because it gets hindered by the sculpt. It has a double it's a double ball joint kind of, and also swivels. You can bring them in like that. Very great range of motion, and you also can swivel there, I believe. I'm not sure now. It doesn't. It's kind of stuck. What I was saying, some joints are very stuck. His wrist rotates and hinges. He also has a diaphragm joint, I believe, or ab crunch. I don't know what it is. It's kind of double ball joint kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it has a great range of motion. He crunches forwards till there and backwards all the way until the jacket hinders it from moving further. And his jacket is on a hinge. So it's very nice detail. So you can hinge it up. And now it's coming a little bit loose. It seems. I don't know why, but. It still stays up, kinda. And this is the most terrible part of the figure. My most disappointing part about this figure are the hip joints effect. You can swivel it, but you need to rotate it. This is kind of a T-joint, so you can kick them forward, but not outwards. So you need to rotate this. Then you can let him kick outwards. So that's kind of a bummer. So he has a rotation in the thigh. He has a double jointed knees, and his feet are on ball joints. So yeah, the articulation is kinda okay, but you can see now I can use this part of this jeans to use for his hand. So let's see. Maybe it's the wrong part. Yeah, it was the wrong part. So anyway, yeah, then you can use this hand to put his head in his pocket. So anyway, let's look at the skill of this figure. Let's put this one also off. Put the other jeans part on it. So then can do it like this, and then you have the other jeans parts which make his hip look a little bit wide. But yeah, what I was saying, the articulation on his hips are not really tight also. I don't like it's fairly loose. It's not really loose, but fairly loose. So you can bring his hip out a little bit by rotating that, rotating this, rotating that, rotating this, and then you can hinge him out a little bit like that. So that's a little bit of a annoying thing, but yeah, sculpting makes up for it kinda. But what I was saying, it's not really realistic proportions. So anyway, so yeah. So let's look at the size. grab a couple of imports. An American size, so you can see a little bit what's up with this figure. Anyway, so yeah, here you have next to a DC Icons figure, and you can see even the DC Icons figure is bigger, it seems. But now he's crunched forward, so let's crunch him backwards a little bit. And also his feet are hinged out, so let him stand like this. Whoa. So you can see he is exactly the same height as Superman, but Superman has a much bigger head because his head is just too small. His head is just too small. Here we have next to an S.H. Figure Arts figure. Maybe he stands taller, but the scale isn't bigger. He isn't bigger in scale. So yeah. Anyway, so what I was saying. I will recommend this figure only if you are a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan or watch the anime in your past. These are from the 90s, this anime, but it is remastered and it is on Crunchyroll, so you can watch it on Crunchyroll. But only then, if you have watched the anime, then only then I would recommend this. If you haven't, then I wouldn't, because it's really expensive figures here in Europe to find. You know, overall in general, it's kind of an expensive figure. You know, it's not like $20 or something. If you are lucky, you can find it for 40. But if you're not, you can buy it for 60, 80. Depends on where you are and which conditioning it is. So anyway, so yeah, that was my figure review on the Super Action Statue Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from Medicos, the Super Action Statue. So see you guys later. Take care.